Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Money Cure podcast. I am your host, Sean Robert Grant. Hello to the East Coast. Hello to the West Coast. Hello to the Mountain and Central time zones. Hello around the world. And hello to each and every person that will be listening to this on replay, whether it be 1, 2, 3, 40 years down the road. Just random numbers. But anyhow, just want to welcome you and thank you for joining me today here on this beautiful Tuesday morning. A lot of amazing things we're going to go over today here on this podcast because, you know, the money cure, we always say it, that's what it comes down to, is curing any type of hindrances or ailments as it relates to your money and your cash flow. And so I'm excited to do that. And so let's take a look at the title today, the topic of today's episode. And it's basically comes down to understanding that there is an unlimited abundance of money available, right? And so this can be really difficult because if we can't see it physically, okay, if there's no physical presence of the money, we just kind of fall into this trap of thinking that it's not present. But here is what you have to understand as it comes to money. Money is truly energy. Right? The numbers you see in your bank account, the paper that's available in your wallet or your purse, that is an outpicturing. It's a manifestation of the actual spirit of money, right? So for me, especially in the last year, but over, oh gosh, I can't really even remember, but over time it has brought me so much joy to be able to teach, and more importantly, to share the idea that you have to look at money as an energy first, right? And this leads us into how we can do that on today's episode. And so it's interesting because in meditation one time, this was like, I'm not sure how long ago, but maybe a few years, I got the revelation that money is just love, and everything that is an entity of love, which is everything, can also be money. But so when that happened, I'm like, okay, but how do I narrow that down, right? And then I came down to the idea of joy, kindness, gratitude, compassion, if you had a chance to check out yesterday's episode. Confidence, right? Those things represent the energy of the money that you desire to see show up in your life physically. All right? So, you know, you've heard multiple teachers say that, well, you just can't get caught up in the physical aspect of money. And they're right to a degree, but when you're telling somebody that doesn't really understand that money is a energy of spirit, you know, how are they going to be able to understand, right? How are they going to be able to grasp what you're really saying? And all you have to do is says, okay, think about how you're feeling. Think about whether or not your life is, I don't want to say sprinkled, but inundated in joy, in gratitude, in kindness, in love. Think about that. Think about your normal resonant vibration, and that will begin to show you as to how much money you feel is available to you. Because I'll tell you like this. If you believe in the unconditional love of God as the master energy of the universe, if you believe in or even have faith in the idea that there is a benevolent spirit that owns everything, but owns in the sense of possesses all of the energy for our usage, and that relates to joy in you, you won't ever have an issue with money whatsoever manifesting, right? The only time we ever get caught up and trapped is when we allow our minds, which can be used as a magnificent tool to help us in every single regard, but in most cases, we decide that we are going to choose fear over faith, right? And all of a sudden, we just set our eyes to see lack. Here's something you really need to know. That's so important. The moment you step into fear, the moment you step into worry, the moment you step into stress, kiss your abundance goodbye. And that seems really absolute and harsh and matter of fact, but the truth of the matter is the universe is only abundant. The universe only knows abundance, right? So if you're seeing anything other than that, how can you expect to manifest the forms of abundance if you're choosing? And see, here's the key word is choosing. There's so much energy in choosing, deciding, commanding. There's so much energy in that, right? But if you're choosing to see lack, how can you expect the universe? How can you expect God, the God in you, to bring you unlimited cash flow? How can you expect the God in you to bring you the resources that you need? How can you be motivated to create the vibration and the energy that allows money to flow into you as energy first, and then manifest itself as the physical money you're looking for? Right? It's very important to remember that, because, you know, money's not a difficult concept, but the truth of the matter is that our conditioning has made us believe that it is a difficult concept and that it's difficult to attain, it's difficult to allow in. But the truth of the matter is, and I learned this, I think, like 8 or 9 years ago from Abraham, Esther Hicks, and she basically says, instead of paying attention, when you first start off, instead of paying attention to the financial currency, pay attention to the vibrational currency. How do you feel? Right? How do you feel? And if you're not feeling good, immediately go and do something that's going to bring you joy. Right? I can remember there was a time where, you know, I was really anxious financially. I was you can say I was worried. I mean, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be here teaching this if I didn't experience a lot of the stuff that I know a lot of people go through in the past. So, but you can just say I was worried and stressed out. So you know what I would do is that I would take my basketball and I would go out to the Clippers complex. This was when I was in Los Angeles, and I would just like shoot baskets, and I would you know, dribble up and down. And I tell you, it brought me so much joy, because growing up and being an athlete, you know, being an athlete allows you to just kind of put everything to the side and just tap into your flow, right? And that always put me into a greater place of flow. And it's just a matter of finding your flow. For some people, a lot of people, it's just as simple as nature. Right? Nature. Some All you have to do is look back on your past successes and see that, you are on the right path. You are doing the right things. You are in a place where you can prosper on a regular basis, right? Two important things that can really pull you out of that funk and put you back into your flow is kindness and gratitude. Kindness and gratitude will keep you on such an ideal vibrational frequency as it relates to you being able to be in a space where you can manifest the money that you need, but more importantly, the money that you desire, right? That's just the way that it is. And so, when we think about all of this, it seems hard at first, but then it's really easy to break down. It's really easy to come to a place where we can kind of gain this understanding of what's really going in our life, and then moving from that place to a place of trusting, and then having faith, and then eventually having confidence that exactly every single thing we need and desire is there. And if it doesn't show up, then that means that Spirit has something greater for us that is just as much a product of unlimited abundance as the thing you were asking for, right? So, what I really wanted to convey today is the idea of making a simple shift, sometimes not always easy, because once again, conditioning does play a big role when it comes to money and everything that it consists of. But the biggest thing that you can do is to convince yourself, and I'm going to break this down as easy as I can for you. So we live in a universe. I think it's a multiverse, which is like 100 universes on top of each other, but we can't fathom that with the human mind, but that's just what I feel. So we live in all those universes, and all those universes are managed perfectly, infallibly, by one energy. Okay? One energy. And that energy is not only the objects, the people, the animals, the things. That energy within this universe is the space, right? In addition. So put your hand out into the air, and you feel that? That's the universal energy filling that up, right? This is the energy that we are working with, that is working in us, through us, around us, right? So think about that for a moment before I proceed any further. Okay, it's that type of energy that is in control of it all, right? Not only is it in control of it all, it is made up. Or all of it is made up of this energy. All of it. Everything. Even the little speck of dust that's on the ground right now. All of it. When we say all, that means everything. It means nothing lacking, nothing missing. And guess what? That all consists of money. It consists of an unthinkable, unlimited amount of money to anyone who is willing to consciously, and this is where the key comes in, to consciously recognize its presence as being available. So Stuart Wilde, who was a great teacher, a British guy, he used to say There are trillions of dollars flowing by your ears every single day. And you know, most teachers, when they get to a certain level, they start speaking in parables because they want the meanings to be revealed to you as opposed to you just kind of taking it and not understanding it. That's one of the biggest things that I had to kind of realize is that, you know, sometimes you give people the gift right away and they just don't get it. So you tell a parable and you allow their own understanding to get it or to comprehend. But he used to say this. He said there's trillions of dollars flying past our ears every single day. And what he meant was that energy that takes up the space, that spirit that takes up all of that space of these 100 universes and space and everything else and all this stuff in the multiverse, that same energy is money. It's money. And all it's waiting for is your conscious recognition that it is present. Without any doubts, but consciously recognizing that it is present. I will tell you, if you can touch the air, there's money there. Right? And it's just that simple. Just that simple. And by convincing, because conviction is really important, by convincing yourself that it's absolutely every single where that you go, man, you can have it flowing into your life like a waterfall, like an avalanche, since we're talking about nature, right? You can have it flowing into your life in that capacity, but, and this is a huge but, you have to get out of your own way. You have to get out of your own way. That's the biggest thing that stops people, is because they start to let their mind, see, your mind is a beautiful thing. Your mind is a creation of God, and when it taps into the Christ consciousness, look out, because everything is going to flow like water. Everything is going to open up to you because you'll be at ease. You're not allowing it to run and think of the worst case scenario, right? What if you took all the energy that you put into the worst case scenario and put that same energy into the best case scenario, right? Thinking that, you know, money as an energy, because that's what Stuart Wow meant, as an energy, is flying over your head as you sleep, right? Flying beside your bed as you sleep. And you know what it's waiting for? Your conscious recognition of it. Why? Because the universe can only transform and manifest itself into things with attention, right? But it's not attachment. Don't get that confused, okay? Attention means that you set an attention means you set an intention and you allow that thing to manifest. You have desire, but you're not attached to it. Attached to it, you can tell intention from attachment because of one thing. If there's fear, stress, and worry present, it's attachment. If there's just desire and an excitement for when it will show up, it's intention, right? And it's attention as well. So that's a great way to see that unfold in your favor. But give it the attention. Know that that space is, and this is the beauty of it, it's not just money. It can take the form of every single resource that you may need. Not just money. Every single resource this space can take the form of. Universe is always transforming itself, always listening to your deepest desires within your heart to see what it is that you really want, and then it's going to work through all your stuff, which hopefully you've worked through your stuff. But it's a beautiful thing when you work through your stuff and the universe is working for you, and it ain't got no more stuff to work through. And it can bring you the exact thing that you're wanting. So the biggest takeaway here before we go, the biggest takeaway is to recognize, regardless of what the account says, regardless of what your mama, daddy, spouse, brother, sister say about you in the past and what you hadn't been able to do, throw that to the side, right? But take a moment to recognize the unlimited abundance around you. And guess what? You might not be able to see it, but I can guarantee you, if you ask Spirit, Spirit will allow you to feel it. It will allow you to feel into it. And by feeling into it, all of a sudden it's going to become conscious. And what did we say earlier? Conscious recognition of that energy. And because that energy is just pure love, you're going to experience joy when you know that. And this is just the process of how it's going to unfold until it begins to show up as cash, as dollars, as pesos, as euros, as yen, as pounds. Whatever your currency is, this energy can turn into any of it. And it's just a matter of recognizing that energy for what it is, and partly what it is, and that is money. All right, so with that being said, we are going to end. I kind of like ending with an intention statement because, that allows us to come together and bring all our energies into this space of acceptance, of truth, of joy, of communion, of gratitude, and basically the faith to realize that this thing is done because all of us are gathering as one energy to allow it to happen. So I'm just going to do an intention statement, and then we will sign off from there. Dearest God and me, O benevolent, wonderful, kind, humble Spirit, it is our intention to easily and effortlessly manifest the unlimited abundance of money into our lives and into the lives of our loved ones, allowing us to be, do, and have all that we desire in this life that is in our highest good. May this all take place under grace in a perfect way. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy your rich, money-filled Tuesday. We will talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.